CATV is proudly presented by Toyota.
Well, no Mitchell Johnson, a big blow, but I suppose you have to do those sort of things.
You have to. It's obviously been a big summer for him, so just giving him a short little break, making sure he's getting fresh for the other one days as well. So it's important we put the best side we possibly can out, but understanding that it's been a hectic 5 test matches and some of the test boys especially are a bit weary.
Will he definitely play in the second ODI, or will you just wait and see?
No, he'll play in Brisbane, definitely. It's one of his hometown, so he'll play there.
Is one match going to be enough for these guys, especially someone like Hads who's kept the whole time?
Oh, look, we'll sum it up as we go. We still want to. We certainly don't want to go down the path previously where we've rested clumps of players. We certainly want to just pick and choose where we can do it. We want them to play in their home state, obviously. We want to make sure we're putting a good squad together looking ahead to the World Cup. So this one-day format is very important for us. So it gives some guys an opportunity that we think are going to get to the World Cup, which is important as well.
Not a hell of a lot of one-day cricket before the World Cup, I suppose. So how important is it to get that squad right now?
Oh, very important. Very important for us. So the format, we've started to play some good one-day cricket of late, which is pleasing. We've certainly got some areas we need to improve on, which we know. So from our point of view, to get the squad right for home World Cups, of high importance.
You've got 3 openers in the squad. When you go about choosing, is it who are the best 2 openers, or which one's most capable of batting down the order possibly?
It's about picking the right squad and seeing which team we're playing, who we're playing against, and where we see them fit in. So as long as they can fit from 1 to 6 and be very versatile, that's important as well.
But is there anyone sort of like say is it like Warner and Finch in line, or is Sauce right in it as well?
Could be Warner, Finch, Marsh. We just have to wait to see who walks out to bat day one.
How important is it to keep the momentum going and to keep going from what you've done in the test?
Very important. I think Michael summed it up really well last week when he said, after the Test series in England, we needed to get back on track and start that momentum building from obviously the Test series in England. So what England will be trying to do is the same thing, and they'll be building for World Cup. So we've got to play really good cricket and continue that on and keep the momentum going, because winning becomes a habit for us.
What do you make of all the disharmony in the England camp, Peterson, all that sort of stuff as well?
Oh, look, I'm not going there. To be perfectly honest, that's between them to work out. We've got enough to worry about getting ready for a one-day series here, a 2020 series. Then obviously, another Test series, but the World Cup is in our focus as well.
Have you ever seen anything like it though, when you're going along so sweetly and everyone's just loving each other like a family and they're just breaking apart?
Oh, look, again, I'm not going to comment on it.
Would you be sad to see one of them leave international cricket though?
Oh, they've been great players, all of them, over a period of time. So the England team have got decisions to make, and they'll make them, I'm sure. So, but they're all very, very good players and have entertained the cricketing world for a period of time.
How much have you seen of Mackay this season? Like, I know his sort of stats haven't been great, but since in the Aussie season, but do you sort of more so rely on the fact that reigning one-day bowler of the year, leading wicket taker for Australia in one days this year?
Yeah, obviously he's one-day player of the year from last year. So he was very good in England. A little bit disappointing in India. He'll know that. So he's got to bowl well, and he'll have to start well.
Does this series mean anything for Test selection in South Africa, as in particularly a guy like George Bailey, who's probably hasn't made the runs in the Test series he would have liked?
Every time you represent your country, you're trying to play in all formats. So every game, as we talk about, and we've talked about it, pre-summer and the Indian one-day series, it's important for guys to make runs and take wickets.
Just the team ethos. Every time somebody's asked about how close everyone is, all the players seem to put it down to you and you coming along. Does it make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside?
It just means I'm getting old. That's all that means. Look, a lot of work goes behind the scenes. It's not just obviously the head coach, but more importantly it's the support staff and the way we want to go about it on and off the ground. So the pleasing thing is the players have got to go out and play and bat and make the runs and take the wickets, but hopefully we prepare them well enough that they can do that and enjoy themselves along the way. So that's where the warm fuzzy feel comes, I think.
And James Pattinson, what does he need to do to seal his spot in South Africa?
Bowl well, like everyone else that's playing, trying to get on that trip. Again, we're not looking that far ahead. We've got a pretty important one-day game starting at MCG, so if he's in the side, he's got to bowl well.
Does the photo on the Herald Sun help or hinder?
I think it's quite funny. I like funny stuff like that. I'm not sure what he's saying about all the crowd dressing up like Boof. I don't know there's that many bald people and fat people around. So from my point of view, I'll get him back at some stage.
I know you've had the Ashes to focus on, but because the World 2020 is coming up, have any of the selectors been given a brief, like, look, watch all the BBL to sort of keep in mind guys that, you know, could come from, I guess, outside the squad past year?
Very much so. We think the BBL is a great platform to have a look at T20, and there's some exciting players playing around. So from our point of view, we need to look at that leading into a World Cup, and all the selectors have been watching every game. I'm going along tonight with Johnny and Verity, so all the selectors have been going to as many games as possible, and there's been some really good performances there from younger guys.
And are there any players, I guess, young or old, who forced their way into calculations, I guess, for the reckoning for the 30?
Young and old are right in the mix.
I'm not giving anything away.
Nah, sorry about that.
What about Cameron White though?
Yeah, performed beautifully. I played really well in Ryobi at the start of the year, where I got to see him at North Sydney in a few games, and obviously started the Shield year well. So he's very close to selection. End of the day, he's just got to keep making runs. That's all he can do.
Speaking of older guys, Chris Rogers, top scorer across the 10 tests. Can he keep going a couple of years in the test team?
Well, if he keeps making runs like that, he can. That's up to him, isn't it? To make as many as he can each time he plays. As we've said, with our experienced or older players, they've got to perform at the next level all the time, and credit to them, they've been absolutely brilliant so far this summer.
There's a story that came out today about Stuart Broad and Matt Pryor trying to talk a bloke off the ledge in Sydney. What's your thoughts on that sort of story? Do you have any reaction to it?
Yeah, I thank them. It's a fantastic thing to do, obviously, and obviously to save someone's life is pretty special. So from, you know, an Australian point of view, thank them, so me, you know, another Australian, and obviously what they've done there.
You're not far, in terms of ranking points for one days, you're not far behind India. They're playing 5 one days at the same time over in NZ. Is that a factor, or do you look at that number one ranking, or is it purely in one day, it's just about the World Cup prep at the moment?
No, a bit of both. World Cup prep, but also more importantly, we can go to number one. So we've got to play the brand of cricket that we need to play to win one-day games, and we've got to do it consistently. And that's where we want to get to. We want to be the best in the world in all formats. We know it's a lot of hard work, but we need to do it more often and more consistently.